One formation had everyone baffled, and people were saying, well, what is this?
For years, people dismissed crop circles as elaborate hoaxes created by pranksters with wooden planks. But Umberto Baudo saw something nobody else did. He saw machines. He saw energy systems. He saw instructions from somewhere beyond Earth.
They think they're made by aliens or extra-dimensionals. I mean, it's a big universe.
These weren't your typical ramblings about crop circles. He shocked the scientific community with his theories about their role as free energy devices. But what was even more shocking was what he went on to build in his workshop. This might be the most suppressed technology in human history. The claim that broke physics. In 2008, Umberto Baudo, an Italian inventor, walked into a meeting with engineers and said 3 words that would change everything. "I've brought proof." This statement shocked the scientific community. He claimed that crop circles aren't random patterns created by pranksters. Instead, they're sophisticated blueprints for free energy devices, deliberately placed in fields across the world. The most shocking thing of all, he said he could prove it. What he pulled out in that meeting wasn't just another theory about mysterious crop circles. It was working blueprints for free energy devices that defy everything we know about physics. So, who was the man behind this shocking idea? Baudo wasn't some fringe theorist working in isolation. His approach was methodical, almost obsessive. He spent years analyzing hundreds of crop circle formations, running computer simulations, and building physical prototypes. While most researchers photographed crop circles and debated their origin, Baudo did something radically different. He measured them. He calculated ratios between the circles. He studied the placement of each component within the formations with an engineer's eye, not a mystic's wonder. His conclusion? These patterns contain the exact specifications needed to generate unlimited energy using centrifugal force. Energy that would cost nothing. Energy that could free humanity from power bills, oil companies, and the entire global energy infrastructure. But here's where it gets strange. Baudo believes these crop circle blueprints weren't left by humans at all. The spacing between circles corresponded to gear ratios. The offset centers indicated eccentric rotation points. The whole formations read like technical schematics for machines that shouldn't be possible. He's convinced they're messages from extraterrestrial intelligence, trying to hand us the keys to unlimited power. And before you dismiss this as science fiction, you need to see what he built. The question isn't whether crop circles exist. They do. Thousands of them appear every year in farmers' fields worldwide. The real question is what Baudo discovered when he started treating them not as art, but as blueprints from beyond Earth. When patterns became machines. Baudo's breakthrough didn't happen overnight. It started with a simple observation that most people overlooked. When you look at crop circle patterns from above, they're beautiful, symmetrical, mesmerizing. But Baudo saw something different. He saw gears and rotating systems, mechanical blueprints drawn at a massive scale. He began his experiments by focusing on circular formations with multiple rings and offset centers. These weren't random aesthetic choices. They were precise engineering diagrams showing how to arrange rotating components around an eccentric core. In mechanical terms, an eccentric core is an off-center axis that creates imbalance during rotation. And imbalance, when properly harnessed, creates momentum. Baudo started building prototypes using magnetic arrays based directly on crop circle geometry. His first models were simple tests to determine if the patterns could be translated into functional mechanisms. They could. The magnetic systems worked, but they weren't efficient enough. So he pivoted to something more powerful: centrifugal force. This is where the crop circle mystery takes a sharp turn into forbidden physics. Baudo discovered that when you rotate the specific patterns found in authentic crop circles at high speed, something unexpected happens. One pattern in particular caught his attention. It showed a central circle surrounded by smaller circles at varying distances, creating what looked like a spiral effect. When Baudo translated this pattern into a rotating mechanism with weighted components, the results were extraordinary. The systems don't just maintain momentum, they build it, even after the initial power source is removed. He discovered that even minor deviations from the exact ratios shown in the formations caused the systems to fail. The precision wasn't accidental, it was essential. Whoever designed these patterns knew exactly what they were doing.
And maybe they feel like leaving some graffiti in the fields? Or maybe it's more than that.
The free energy invention nobody wanted. Here's what makes Baudo's free energy invention controversial. Traditional physics tells us that perpetual motion is impossible. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created or destroyed in an isolated system. Everything eventually winds down due to friction and resistance. Engines need fuel, batteries need charging, nothing runs forever. But Baudo's crop circle-based designs appeared to violate this fundamental principle. His computer simulations showed rotating systems that accelerated continuously, building speed even without external power input. The simulations revealed something that should have made headlines worldwide. When Baudo input the exact geometric ratios from authenticated crop circles into his models, the digital prototypes showed energy output that exceeded energy input by significant margins. The secret was in how the eccentric core interacted with weighted components arranged in the exact patterns found in mysterious crop circles. He added springs to his designs, calibrated according to crop circle specifications. These springs would extend slowly as the system spun faster. Once fully extended, the mechanism would stabilize at incredibly high speeds, generating massive amounts of kinetic energy that could theoretically be converted into electricity for entire cities. He ran these simulations with and without gravity variables. He tested them with different friction coefficients. He modeled them under various atmospheric conditions. Every single test showed the same result. Once the systems reached a critical rotation speed, they became self-sustaining. The energy required to maintain rotation dropped while the energy available for extraction increased. The crop circle patterns, when translated into rotating machinery, created self-sustaining energy systems. It wasn't magic, it was physics operating at the edge of what current science understands. But here's the problem. What made his claims even more compelling was his transparency. Unlike many inventors who guard their secrets, Baudo shared his methodology openly. He wanted other engineers to replicate his work. He wanted validation or refutation from the scientific community. He wasn't trying to sell a product or promote a scam. He genuinely believed he decoded alien technology hidden in plain sight. That openness might have been his biggest mistake, because once you show the world how to generate unlimited free energy, you become a threat to trillion-dollar industries that depend on energy scarcity. And that's exactly what appears to have happened. Scientists stunned by crop circle patterns. While Baudo was building his prototypes in Italy, researchers worldwide were having their own revelations about crop circles. In 1991, a book titled Crop Circles, Harbingers of World Change explored a radical idea. What if these formations weren't pranks or natural phenomena? What if they were deliberate messages from non-human intelligence? An English historian and psychic named Isabel Kingston proposed something that sounds impossible until you see Baudo's work. She suggested that crop circles might reveal molecular structures or blueprints for new forms of energy that scientists would eventually decode. She made this prediction 17 years before Baudo claimed to have done exactly that. Research teams from multiple universities had documented anomalies in crop circle formations that defied easy explanation. Plants inside authentic formations showed cellular changes consistent with rapid heating, yet there was no evidence of burning. The stalks were bent at precise angles without breaking, something that's nearly impossible to achieve manually without damaging the crops. The timing is almost too perfect. As more elaborate crop circles appeared throughout the 1990s and 2000s, the patterns became increasingly complex. Some formations contained hundreds of circles, precise geometric ratios, and mathematical sequences that seemed purposeful, too purposeful to be random hoaxes. Soil samples from these formations revealed magnetic particle alignments that shouldn't occur naturally. The precision of the circles themselves was measured accurately to within millimeters across formations spanning hundreds of feet. Some patterns incorporated mathematical constants, like pi and the golden ratio, with stunning accuracy. Baudo recognized that not every crop circle was authentic. Many were proven fakes, created by human pranksters. But among the hundreds of documented formations, he identified specific patterns that appeared repeatedly across different countries and years. These patterns shared common features: eccentric cores, rotating circles arranged in specific ratios, and geometric relationships that matched mechanical engineering principles. What stunned Baudo most was how these patterns solved problems that human engineers struggle with. Creating rotational momentum without constant energy input requires incredibly precise balance and component placement. The crop circle patterns provided exact specifications for achieving this, as if someone with advanced knowledge was handing us the solution. Decoding the ancient technology. Baudo reached a conclusion that sounds like science fiction, but follows logical reasoning. If extraterrestrial intelligence wanted to communicate advanced technology to humans, how would they do it? Written language would be useless. We speak thousands of different languages, and aliens would speak none of them. Mathematical formulas might work, but require a shared understanding of notation and symbols. Visual patterns, however, are universal. A circle is a circle in any language. Geometric relationships remain constant across all cultures and potentially across all intelligent species. By creating massive visual diagrams in crop fields, extraterrestrial intelligence could communicate complex mechanical designs without words. This theory explains several mysteries about crop circles. Why do they appear in fields where they're easily visible from above? Because they're meant to be seen and photographed. Why are the patterns so precise? Because they're engineering blueprints requiring exact specifications. Why do they appear worldwide? Because the message is intended for all humanity, not one nation or group. The technology encoded in crop circles works with fundamental forces like rotation, momentum, and centrifugal acceleration. These forces existed long before humans evolved. Any sufficiently advanced civilization would have discovered and mastered them. By encoding this knowledge in visual diagrams, extraterrestrial intelligence is sharing discoveries they made potentially millions of years ago. Baudo describes crop circles as the maximum expression of a message, because images communicate far more than words, especially to recipients who don't share your language. If you wanted to hand humanity the key to unlimited energy, you'd need a method that transcends language barriers and survives long enough to be studied. The implications are staggering. If Baudo's interpretation is correct, we're not alone in the universe, and whatever intelligence is out there wants us to have free energy technology. They're literally drawing instruction manuals in our fields, waiting for someone smart enough to recognize them for what they are. From simulation to reality. Baudo didn't stop at computer models. He took his designs from the digital realm into physical reality. His team began fabricating metal components cut to exact specifications derived from crop circle geometry. These weren't crude prototypes. They were precision-engineered pieces designed to spin at extreme speeds while maintaining the geometric relationships found in the original formations. The testing phase revealed something remarkable. The physical prototypes behaved exactly as the simulations predicted. When the eccentric core rotated, weighted components arranged in crop circle patterns generated increasing momentum. The spring mechanisms extended gradually, and the entire system built speed, even as the initial power input decreased. Temperature measurements taken during operation showed the systems remained cool despite intense rotation. This was unexpected because friction typically generates heat. The lack of significant temperature increase suggested the mechanisms were operating with minimal energy loss, exactly what the crop circle blueprints seemed to promise. Baudo documented one test in which a prototype reached rotational speeds exceeding 10,000 RPM. In video documentation, we can see Baudo's workshop filled with metal discs, chains, springs, and rotating assemblies. His team conducts tests, measuring rotation speeds, energy output, and mechanical stress. At that velocity, the eccentric core created a visual distortion effect, appearing to elongate into an oval shape due to the extreme centrifugal forces. The weighted components swung outward precisely as the crop circle geometry predicted, creating a balanced yet dynamic system that seemed to pull energy from the rotation itself. The systems work, spin, and generate force. Whether they truly produce free energy in the thermodynamic sense remains the crucial question. But something else happened during this testing phase. Word of Baudo's work began spreading beyond Italy. Word spread through engineering circles. Some dismissed Baudo as deluded. Others wanted to see the prototypes for themselves. Engineers and researchers started paying attention. Some were skeptical. Others were intrigued. A few recognized the implications and understood why this technology might never reach the public. Because free energy devices don't just disrupt industries. They dismantle power structures that have controlled human civilization for centuries. And eventually, Baudo found himself in contact with experts in America who wanted to examine his crop circle-based free energy invention more closely. This is where the story takes a mysterious turn, because after those initial contacts with American experts, information about Baudo's work becomes scarce. The detailed documentation stops. The public updates cease. It's as if someone decided this technology shouldn't be publicly available. The technology that disappeared. Here's what we know happened. Baudo demonstrated working prototypes based on crop circle blueprints. He documented his process with videos and simulations. He made contact with international researchers and engineers who expressed serious interest in his designs. Then the trail goes cold. Why would revolutionary free energy technology suddenly disappear from public view? The answer might be simpler and darker than alien conspiracies. Our entire global economy runs on energy scarcity. Oil companies, utility corporations, power plants, and energy infrastructure represent trillions of dollars in investments and profits. These industries employ millions of people and have a significant influence on governments worldwide. Free energy devices would destroy this economic model overnight. If anyone could generate unlimited electricity from a mechanical system costing a few $100s to build, energy companies would become obsolete. Nations would lose their power leverage. The entire geopolitical structure built around oil and energy resources would collapse. Baudo himself recognized this problem. He stated that delivering free energy to all humanity would face incredible resistance in a world where economies revolve around monetized methods of energy delivery. It's not that the technology is impossible. It's that too many powerful interests need it to remain unavailable. This pattern has played out before. Nikola Tesla claimed he could provide free wireless electricity to the world in the early 1900s. His funding was cut, his research was suppressed, and he died in poverty while his revolutionary ideas remained unrealized. If crop circles really do contain blueprints for free energy devices, Baudo's disappearance from public view follows a troublingly familiar pattern. Some researchers who followed Baudo's work reported being contacted and told to cease their investigations. Others found their own attempts to replicate his designs met with unusual obstacles. Component suppliers wouldn't fulfill orders. Manufacturing facilities refused to produce the specialized parts needed. It was as if an invisible hand was ensuring nobody could independently verify Baudo's claims. The question becomes, are beings with higher intelligence trying to level the playing field by giving humanity technology that would free us from energy monopolies? And are human power structures actively preventing us from receiving that gift? The proof nobody wanted to see. Remember those 3 words? I've brought proof. When Baudo made this declaration, he wasn't bluffing. He had computer simulations showing continuous energy generation. He had physical prototypes built from crop circle patterns. He had documentation connecting specific formations to mechanical principles. He had everything except permission to change the world. The proof exists in those videos showing his metal prototypes spinning, in the simulation data demonstrating increasing momentum, and in the crop circle photographs analyzed against engineering principles. But proof means nothing if it's buried. If the people who control energy distribution decide this technology threatens their power. Some researchers who've studied Baudo's work argue his systems don't truly violate thermodynamic laws. They suggest he's tapping into ambient forces we don't fully understand yet, or that his measurements don't account for all energy inputs and losses. These criticisms might be valid, or they might be convenient ways to dismiss technology that's too disruptive to allow. What would constitute undeniable proof? Mass production of free energy devices was distributed globally before anyone could stop them. That's the only proof that matters, and it's the one proof that's impossible to deliver when powerful forces oppose you. Baudo was one man with limited resources, facing industries with unlimited funds and political influence. The tragedy is that we may never know the full truth. Baudo advanced beyond simulations to working hardware. He demonstrated his systems to experts. He claimed he decoded the crop circle mystery and found the key to ancient technology that was neither ancient nor human. Then, he vanished from the public conversation about free energy devices altogether. A shocking yet suspicious move. The irony is bitter. Extraterrestrial intelligence supposedly left blueprints for free energy devices visible to everyone. Yet the technology remains inaccessible because human power structures won't allow it. The crop circles are still there. The patterns haven't changed. Anyone can study them. But translating those patterns into functioning technology requires resources, expertise, and freedom from interference. Baudo had all 3 until he got too close to success. Then the resources dried up, his expertise was questioned, and his freedom to continue disappeared. What happened in those meetings with American experts? Did they tell him his science was flawed? Did they offer to buy his patents? Did they explain why this technology couldn't be released? We don't have answers, only gaps where answers should be. He's not in prison. He's not dead. He's simply silent, which might be the most effective form of suppression. The message in the fields. Step back and look at the complete picture. For decades, increasingly complex crop circles have appeared worldwide. An Italian inventor studied these patterns and claimed they're blueprints for free energy devices. He built working prototypes based on these designs. Then, his work disappeared from public view, just as it was gaining international attention. Either Baudo was wrong, his science was flawed, and crop circles remain an unexplained curiosity, or he was right. His technology worked, and powerful forces ensured it would never reach the public. Both possibilities should disturb us. If Baudo was wrong, we're still left with the crop circle mystery. Who creates the authentic formations that appear overnight with precision and complexity beyond simple hoaxes? Why do they contain geometric relationships and patterns that match advanced engineering principles? What message, if any, are they meant to convey? If Baudo was right, we're living in a world where the solution to our energy crisis has been handed to us repeatedly, drawn in massive diagrams visible from space, and we're either too blind to see it or too controlled to use it. Extraterrestrial intelligence might be desperately trying to give us the technology to free ourselves, while human power structures ensure we remain enslaved to energy bills and corporate control. The crop circles keep appearing. New formations show up every year with patterns we haven't seen before. Maybe they're getting more explicit, more desperate to communicate, or maybe they've given up on us entirely recognizing that humanity isn't ready for the gift they're offering. What should we do then? Should we keep trying? Should we make the patterns even more obvious? Or should we conclude that humanity isn't ready and move on to another species more worthy of the gift? The crop circles still appear, which suggests the message hasn't been abandoned. Someone or something continues creating these formations, despite humanity's failure to properly utilize them. That persistence hints at patience beyond human understanding. Or perhaps desperation. Baudo's work suggests the blueprints are there, waiting in farmers' fields for anyone brave enough and smart enough to decode them. Baudo's story becomes part of this larger narrative. He's not the first to attempt decoding alien messages, and he won't be the last. Each attempt moves humanity incrementally closer to accepting what the crop circles are telling us. Eventually, enough people will understand. Enough engineers will replicate the designs. The technology will spread beyond any one person or group's ability to suppress. That's the hope anyway. The question is whether we'll ever be allowed to use what they're teaching us. The alternative is that free energy devices will remain locked away in classified facilities, while crop circles continue appearing in fields, unread instruction manuals for a humanity too controlled or too foolish to use them. Whether his technology truly works or not, the story raises questions we can't ignore. Are we alone in the universe? Do mysterious crop circles contain hidden messages about alien technology? And if free energy inventions exist, who decides whether humanity gets to use them? What do you think really happened to Umberto Baudo's designs? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want more stories about technology that challenges everything we think we know. See you next time.